7 clear signs of emotional healing. Now, before we get into this, I want to make it absolutely clear that I am a believer, an advocate, a proponent of the idea of healing from within. I am not the believer that you must go outside externally to find something, to seek something that is going to fix you. Nothing outside of you is ever going to fix you. Yes, it may numb you for a second. And I'm talking about anything from a narcotic to even therapy, right? I believe that therapy serves its purpose for a specific time in your life. Even me as a coach, I will tell you this, that I don't want somebody to be with me for the rest of their lives. If I can have you in an hour, if I can have you in a week and you are transformed, I'd rather have that. But as long as we are always moving towards healing as opposed to coping, healing as opposed to dealing with, then we are on the right track. We are on the right road. We're on the most empowering path for ourselves. And so again, I want to make that blatantly clear, blatantly obvious, to not misconstrue anything. And that is the importance of the list of 7 we are talking about today. For most individuals, it can be difficult to gauge whether or not you're truly in that healing space. You are truly healing as opposed to coping. And so I wanted to make it blatantly obvious with these 7 specific things, though there are multitudes of other indicators. These ones I believe are some of the most helpful or the most powerful as far as just giving you an overall framework. So that being said, let's get into it. Number 1 is you no longer give others power over your thoughts and emotions. Now, this one is a fundamental one. This one's like one of those kind of main themes, right? Is true power comes from knowing that you are in control of your thoughts and your emotions, and that your thoughts create your emotions, and that your thinking and your emoting, your thoughts and your emotions create your life. Therefore, they are your true power source. And so when you're in a place where you're emotionally healing, truly in a healing state, you have taken back that power. You understand that other people do not have that authority over your life, but instead you are the only one who is truly in control of those 2 things. Others can influence you, but only as much as you allow them to influence you. You are the one who has a say at the end of the day. Number 2 is the power of forgiveness to free you from the past. Now, this one is a very clear indicator. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. When you come to understand the importance of forgiveness in the healing journey, you've come to understand the baseline of the core of like the main action or the activity necessary in order to truly heal. Forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others. And most people run from forgiveness of others, having this belief that forgiveness means letting people back in our lives and walking all over us, or allowing people to re-abuse us, or whatever it may, or whatever the idea may have been taught to us as. But true forgiveness is letting go emotionally, mentally, and physically in most cases of an individual. Like in most times, most cases, we let go of somebody physically, but we hold on to them emotionally, we hold on to them mentally. And so it basically is the equivalent of that person still being there, that experience still happening over and over again, right? Re-traumatizing ourselves. In truth, the most power comes from when we allow ourselves to let go in all 3 spaces. And I do mean this with full intention, allowing ourselves. It is a choice that we make. It's a decision that only we can make within ourselves. And so again, when you are making forgiveness a habit, when you are making forgiveness a lifestyle, a part of your everyday existence, you are in that state of emotional healing. Number 3, you care more about your peace than you do seeking revenge. So this one might not be so obvious to, a multitude of people, because we're very good at justifying things as human beings, right? We'll tell ourselves we're doing one thing when we're really doing an absolute other. We'll tell ourselves I'm doing this from the goodness of my heart when really we're resentful and bitter that we didn't get something back. And so this one basically is to be understood in this way. When you care more about truly being at a state of peace than desiring the worst for somebody, or seeking revenge doesn't necessarily mean you're wanting to do something physical. It could just mean in your mind, right? It could mean in your emotions. If you want the worst for the other person, or you hope the person experiences something terrible, that's a space of woundedness still. You're still in a space where you are basically poking at the wound or looking at the wound, and you're thinking of the person as opposed to thinking about your healing. And so when we are finally in a state where we transition into caring more, truly caring more, I mean by thought, emotion, and action, care more about our peace, our inner state of stillness. When we care more about that than anything else, then we're truly healing. When that is our priority and we will let nothing bother that, not even feeling justified in our resentments and our bitterness or the resentment and the bitterness of the past, then you are truly in a state of emotional healing. Number 4, you do not feel the need to save or to rescue anybody but yourself. Now, this one is huge. Many of us who are in the space of healing and are devoted to healing, we might have come from a place in our life where we look to save somebody, right? We might find ourselves in toxic relationships or a toxic relationship where we had this dynamic where we felt as if we could do something to change this person. We felt as if we could do something to make this person different than they already are. As opposed to distancing ourselves and working on ourselves, we have this dynamic of being the savior for others. And, more cases than not, this is an excellent excuse to hide from your own healing. It's an excellent place to hide from your own growth. It's a place where we can shelve ourselves just long enough and devote ourselves with enough energy, intensity, and attention that we do not have to look at our own lives and the state of our own lives. And so once you make that transition again of no longer needing to save others, but seeing your only sole responsibility as quote unquote saving yourself, that is a clear and telltale sign of emotional healing. Number 5, you no longer seek love externally, knowing it can only come from within. Ooh, yes, Lord. This is a doozy do, as they call it in some places in the US of A. When you are in a state of looking for love in all the wrong places, this is again a sign of that woundedness and that unhealed, untreated woundedness. When you are seeking for somebody else to be a representation of love for you, when you're seeking for somebody else to do things or be something in order for you to feel loved, in order for you to feel justified within yourself, that is a telltale sign of, the lack of that emotional healing. However, once you've stepped into the true space of healing, no longer coping, no longer dealing with, but truly healing from the past, truly healing from those wounds of old, you will start to find yourself naturally seeking that love from within, naturally going within yourself to find that place of peace, to find that place of absolute love, because in truth, it's the only place you can really find it, right? It's been trapped away in you the entire time. And once you start to look for it in the right places, you're going to be blessed for it. Number 6, you are aware of your negative belief systems and do the work to change them. Now, I could go on an entire rant. I could create a series just on this one, and I've devoted my life on making sure that I, have this message in the mainstream, is that negative belief systems are what keeps us in a negative cycle. Negative belief systems are what keeps us locked in a negative pattern of life. It is not externalities. It's not what that person did. It's not the government. It's not that system. It's not this person, that person, etc. It has nothing to do with anything out there and everything to do with what's within here, right? If you are perpetuating or continuing to keep the same negative beliefs that held you down before, you're going to have the same negative experiences that you've had in time past. And so once you start to truly emotionally heal, you take responsibility of your thoughts, of your emotions, and you start to actively change your belief systems. You start to look at the belief systems that you have currently with a heightened level of self-awareness, and you start to do the work to change those belief systems. That is the most important work you could ever do. You can't outrun your belief system the same way you can't outwork out a bad diet, right? If you want to have the life that you truly desire, you must first look at the hardwiring. You must first look at the software. You must first look at the engine under that hood. And only then will you truly start to create that change that is long lasting, that is exponential and forever. And number 7, you go within for your validation. Now, this one can be connected to, finding that love within, which is number 5. But validation, I give a special category because it doesn't always necessarily have to do with love. It always has to do with being seen or being being accepted in one form or fashion, being seen as enough, right? We want somebody outside of us to view us as enough so we can feel as if we are enough. Now, once you're in a place of emotional healing, that becomes more and more irrelevant to you. Instead, you start to seek that from within. Instead, you start to realize that the only place that you can find a sustainable source of validation is from within yourself. And it's not a false sense of validation like, oh, I'm better than this person, or I'm better than these persons. Like, I'm him, I'm her, whatever. We have these statements which are cool, but as long as it's not about comparison to others, it's a true state of healing. Because again, in some cases, we could justify ourselves to say, oh, I'm in a healed place. But really, we're still playing a comparison game. I'm good because they're down, or I'm good because I'm better than them, or whatever it may look like. And so, again, a true place, a true space, a true state of self-healing, of emotional healing, which is self-healing. But a true state of emotional healing will be shown through that going within for the source of validation always. So I'm going to run through these one more time, and then we're going to wrap this up. Number one is you no longer give others power over your thoughts and emotions. Number two is you know the power of forgiveness to free you from the past. Number three is you care more about your peace than seeking revenge. Number four is you do not feel the need to save or rescue anybody besides yourself. Number five, you no longer seek love externally, knowing that it can only come from within. Number six, you are aware of your negative belief systems and you do the work to actively change them, intentionally change them. And number seven is you go within for your validation. Now, if this has been of value to you, this channel is flooded with this sort of information, but not just information, with true transformation. My intention with this channel is very simple. It's the same mission I have for my entire life, is that every interaction is filled with value, but every interaction is filled with transformation, to transform our globe, to shift the consciousness of this entire planet and any unknown planets that might be listening in as well. So, I just want to let you know that I appreciate you for your time, your attention, and just being here at this very moment in time for yourself. I love you. I appreciate you. Peace.